More Commitment 2024 coverage now. We're getting the facts on what both major presidential candidates said tonight in their first debate.
Joining us live tonight is Lou Jacobson from PolitiFact. So let's start with this claim from Trump on Democrats' stance on abortion.
That means he can take the life of the baby in the 9th month and even after birth, because some states, Democrat run, take it after birth.
All right, Lou, how accurate is that claim?
We have rated a similar claim in the past false. To willfully terminate a newborn's life is infanticide, which is murder, and it is illegal in every U.S. state. Most elected Democrats who support abortion access do so up to fetal viability, when the fetus is able to survive outside the womb, typically around 24 weeks of pregnancy. He's talking about very rare situations with very tragic health problems, and this is not murder.
So next, Lou, let's get to a claim President Biden made about those arrested on January 6th.
And these people should be in jail, and they should be the ones who are being held accountable. And he wants to let them all out.
So, Lou, what has PolitiFact found about that claim?
Yeah, so Trump has been supportive of the January 6th defendants, but he hasn't been quite as clear as Biden said. Trump has called the defendants hostages and warriors, which critics have taken certainly taken issue with, and he's promised to pardon defendants who stormed the Capitol. But he later suggested that he would consider doing it, so he's been a little bit less clear. So that's somewhat exaggerated, but there's a grain of truth there.
Now, immigration and the border, big topics tonight. Trump said this about Biden's border policies.
And I'd love to ask him, and will, why he allowed millions of people to come in here from prisons, jails, and mental institutions to come into our country and destroy.
Lou, what is PolitiFact's analysis on that?
Yeah, we've looked at a similar claim in the past and called it pants on fire. We know that immigration officials have arrested about 103,000 non-citizens with criminal convictions between 2021 and 2024. But first of all, not everybody was let in. And the term non-citizens does include people who may have legal immigration status in the U.S. but just aren't U.S. citizens. And then in terms of our reporting with experts, there is no basis at all for the fact that, like, countries are sort of emptying their prisons and jails and mental institutions, and they're all coming here.
And so one more we want to get to. Biden made this claim about Trump's plans for Social Security.
He wants to get rid of Social Security. He thinks there's plenty to cut in Social Security. He's wanted to cut Social Security and Medicare, both times.
What is PolitiFact's analysis of that statement?
Well, certainly the part about getting rid of Social Security is not true. Even the things that Trump has said that are in favor maybe of cuts to Social Security don't go as far as getting rid of it. Biden, when he talks about the cuts to Social Security, is cherry picking one comment that Trump did say a couple months ago in a CNBC interview. He quickly walked that back within the day. And on several other occasions, he said that he won't make cuts to Social Security. These were at rallies. And that's also the stated policy on his website. So that's definitely a cherry pick on Biden's part.
All right, Lou Jacobson from PolitiFact, thank you for your time tonight.
Great, thank you.